Hi, it's Fiona from Reads and Eats. I'm here to do my April wrap up and my May TBR. So I'm just going to get started in on it. My first book I read, if you keep wondering why I'm glancing to the side, I've actually read two books on my Kindle and I can't totally remember what they're called. So I've got a piece of paper here that tells me. My memory is at times not as good as I want it to be. Anyway, the first book I read was Shadow of the Night by Deborah Harkness. I'm reading this as part of a group on Goodreads. I'm really enjoying being part of a group because you're discussing the plot lines, what's happening, what you think of what's going on in the book. So I like that side of things. The book is a continuation of the Matthew and Diana story. Matthew is a vampire, Diana is a witch. Matthew, obviously being a vampire, has lived through many centuries. Diana is a modern day witch, so she's having to cope with modern day things. But in this book, we find them back in England of 1590. So you've got Elizabeth I, you've got Kit Marlowe, you have Sir Walter Raleigh, William Shakespeare, all these characters. But they also go to France in that time frame, and you also go to Prague in that time frame. And it's just them learning, or Diana basically learning about all of this culture that is totally foreign and alien to her. She's read it as a historian, but she's now getting to live it. So she's seeing the difference in what is read history and what is living history. I really like the fact that she also is learning more about her magic and what her magic can do, what it enables her to do. She also is learning more about Matthew as a person, because the Matthew who is in 1590 is very different to the modern day Matthew that she knows. She's getting to learn more about his character. I'm enjoying the fact that other people are reading it, and as I said, we have lots of different comments and things like that, so it's lots of fun. That was the first one. The next one I read was Full Moon by Jim Baxter. This is the second book in the Dresden Chronicles and is continuing the story of the wizard and the police officer. This book, you're looking at werewolves and policemen who are rogue policemen. Well, not rogue policemen, but they have turned bad, is the way I'm going to put it. I'm not going to tell you very much about this book because I don't like spoiling what a story is about, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed finding out more about the wizard, finding out more about the police officer, and the things that they have to deal with. So those are the two books that I read on my Kindle. The next book I read was Terry Pratchett's The Wee Free Men. I love this book. I really love this book. This is about the second or third Terry Pratchett book I've read, and I really liked it. You have a girl called Tiffany, who is Tiffany Aching, which I thought was a fantastic name. She could be a witch. She's not too sure, and I think other people are really not too sure about her either. Her wee brother is kidnapped by a wicked queen, so she ends up going to try and rescue him, and she's helped along the process by these wee guys. These are the wee free men who are blue, they have kilts, and they talk with Glasgow accents. So you're also getting Crivens, Help, Jings, and I loved it. I really loved it. So if you've never read any Terry Pratchett and you fancy something different, go for it. It is so fun. The next book I read was, I hope you can see that, The Rivals of the Shalley School by Eleanor M. Brent Dyer. This for me was a reread, but it was a good reread in that this is an unabridged version. The versions I've read before have all been abridged. It was really nice to read this, to get a more rounded character profile, and you learn more about the area in Austria where the schools are situated. The premise is that the Shalley School have been now in Austria for a couple of years, but there's a new English school has started, and it's basically there's a feud starts, and it's what happens with the feud and things like that. So really interesting. So if you've never read Shalley School, I don't know if I would say to start with this one. I think it's always better to start a series from the beginning, but I would recommend this. Next book is The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Johansson. I'm sorry, I didn't like this. This is the third or no, the second book I've read of this author's, and like the first one, I found it too far-fetched. Use of the things that are supposedly happened to this gentleman in his lifetime, and I'm like, yeah, right, that is never ever going to happen. It was entertaining, but not one I'm jumping up and down about, saying, oh yes, you've got to read this. I know a lot of people have read it, and I know a lot of people love it. I'm afraid I didn't. But I'm just going to say, if you fancy it, read it, and you can make up your own mind. The next one was one I picked up in our local supermarket. They were doing a book thing for diabetes, and diabetes is something that's close to my heart, so I thought, right, I'm going to support it. So it's the third book in a Welcome to Tyler series. This is Wisconsin Wedding by Carla Neggers. This picks up the story where there are two brothers. One brother lives in Tyler, who is a bit of a recluse because he's been in the Vietnam War and the horrors of all of that. And he's getting married. Now, the other brother didn't go to Vietnam, and he is a big sort of company officer. And he's already been to Tyler just to check out how his brother was doing. This was a number of years ago. Met a lady, had a fling with her, and he's now coming back to Tyler for the wedding. And it's a story of the brother that had the fling and the lady that had the fling. It's basically a story of what happens to them during the period of him being here for the wedding. I really enjoyed it, I have to say. It was well written, the characters were lovely, and you really wanted them to work things out. So yes, I really enjoyed that. So that's Wisconsin Wedding. Next one was The Beach House by Mary Alice Monroe. This is the second book I've read of hers, and I've enjoyed them both. This one was very poignant. If you know of someone who's got cancer and is going through treatment, or who has had cancer and has gone through treatment, I cried. That's all I'm going to say. I cried. The story is the main character, Lovey, has cancer. She asks her daughter to come back and visit her. They're slightly estranged, and you learn why. And you also learn more about Lovey's life, and also why her relationship with her daughter and possibly her son are as they are. There's also marine biology stuff in this, in that it's to do with Lovey is a member of the turtle team, so it's all to do with loggerhead turtles and the hatchings and things. So a really, really lovely story, poignant and emotional, but it's definitely worth a read. And finally, the last book I read was Deliciously Ella by Ella Woodward. Oh wow, this is a fabulous cookbook. I've made a number of things from it, and I love every single one of them. They're really, really nice. She makes a key lime pie, and the base is nuts and dates, and the filling is limes and avocados, and you wouldn't know the difference. It is absolutely fantastic, and I will definitely be making more things from this book. I have made her almond butter, and I stuff dates with almond butter, and I'm not joking, it's so nice. So that's the last of the books I read last month. So as you see, I got quite a number done, which was good. Now on to my TBRs. I'm not the type of person who will go, oh yes, I'm definitely going to read this in the next month, but I've decided I'm going to try. So the first book I'm going to try and read, although I'm halfway through it at the moment, is called Enchantress by James Maxwell. This is the first in the Everman series. So far, I'm really enjoying it. It's to do with magic, wars, and I didn't know that I would enjoy it, but no, I'm really enjoying it. I got this as part of Kindle Unlimited. I've signed up for a 30-day trial, and I went berserk. I went mad. I was like, oh, I want to read that, I want to read that, I want to read that. And I've now thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through all of these books in 30 days? So I've culled quite a number of them. I've kept about 3 that I hope that within the 30 days I'll read, although I'm not going to put them onto this TBR in case I don't get to read them. So that's the first one I'm going to read. The second one I'm going to try and read is Stephen Fry's The Stars Tennis Balls. I was given this by our next door neighbour who thought I might enjoy it. I don't know anything about the book. I've seen Stephen Fry on TV. I've never read anything by him, so I think it's going to be interesting to see whether I like it or not. So I will keep you posted. Next one I'm going to do is one a friend lent me. The same friend that lent me The Wee Free Men. Is Terry Pratchett's The Dragons of Crumbling Castle. This is a book, it's a series of short stories, and I'm so looking forward to reading them. I've had a quick squint through the book, and it's got diagrams. That's not why I want to read it, but they've got some beautiful, beautiful diagrams. I mean, you see the diagram here of this dragon is in a shower or bath. It looks really good, but the other diagrams look equally fun. So yes, I hope to get through this one this month. And finally, the next one is Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. I've never ever read this, and my parents keep going to, oh, you've got to try and read it, you've got to try and read it. So I decided to pick this one up out of my father's bookshelf because it's actually a graphic novel. As you can see, hope you can see that okay. So yes, I thought I would try a graphic novel. Never tried a graphic novel in my cream puff, so there we go. My graphic novel for this month is Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. That's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave any comments down below. Like it, dislike it, and subscribe. It would be really nice to hear from you, and hopefully I will see you again very shortly. Thank you. Bye.